Everyone tells you to save money, right? It's like the first rule of personal finance. But what if the way we've all been taught to think about saving is just fundamentally wrong? Let's get into this because the real reason to save money is probably not what you think.
I mean, seriously, what if that lifelong habit of pinching every penny and building up that nest egg could actually turn into a trap? A mindset that ends up controlling you just as much as a crazy spending habit would.
It's like you've got two sides of the same coin. On one hand, you have the spender. They're broke, they're stressed, and they're completely controlled by their next purchase. But then, on the other side, you've got the saver. They might be rich on paper, but they're so terrified to spend a dime that they're also controlled by their money. See? They're both stuck, just in different prisons.
And this whole idea brings us to this really fascinating psychological hurdle that a ton of successful savers run into. It's called the saver's paradox. Financial advisors talk about this constantly. I mean, imagine spending 40 years sacrificing, saving, doing everything right. You finally hit your number, you're officially ready to retire, and you just can't. You're terrified to touch the money. The very identity that made you successful, being a saver, has now become your cage. You've spent so long building the nest egg, you can't bring yourself to actually use it for the life you worked so hard to build. Now, let's be super clear here. Being too scared to spend the money you saved? Yeah, that's a real problem. But it is a way better problem to have than the alternative, which is getting to retirement and realizing you have to keep working till you're 95 just to buy food. One is a psychological battle. The other is a straight-up financial disaster. So if the goal isn't just hoarding cash until you die, then what's the point? Well, let's talk about the real relationship between money and happiness. Because the answer is a lot more interesting than what you've probably been told. Oh yeah, you've all seen this number before, right? The famous old study that said happiness totally peaks at around 75 grand a year. Well, you can pretty much throw that data out the window. It's completely outdated. The new research paints a very, very different picture. The reality is that happiness has diminishing returns. Okay, so that jump from making, say, $50,000 a year to $100,000, that brings a huge boost in your well-being. It just reduces so much daily stress. But the next $50,000 bump, yeah, it helps, but less. And the one after that, even less. So yes, more money does bring more happiness, but the effect gets smaller and smaller as you go up. So where does it really level off? Well, today, newer studies show that the happiness curve starts to get pretty flat around $500,000 a year. And get this, beyond that, it can actually start to go down. The stress, the responsibilities, the complexity that comes with extreme wealth can, believe it or not, actually make people less happy. Okay, so if the goal isn't to just pile up as much cash as humanly possible, what is the real purpose of saving? Well, the answer is one incredibly powerful word: freedom. The true return you get on your savings isn't the interest rate or the stock market gains. No, it's optionality. It's the freedom to make choices. It is the raw power to say no to a job you hate or to say yes to some amazing opportunity that doesn't pay well, at least not yet. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's so simple. Every single dollar you put away, it doesn't matter if it's $10 or $1,000, it buys you back a piece of your own life. It's a tangible piece of your own independence that you now own. Think about it like a ladder. You save one day's worth of your expenses, boom, you now own one day of your future. You save up 6 months' worth, now you have the power to walk away from a toxic job. You can handle a surprise medical bill without panicking. You can take a risk on a new career. That is a level of exhale, of just relief that most people never get to experience. It's like this. It's the ability to see a car you really like at an auction and know in the back of your head that you could make a real bid on it. Now, you probably won't, but the point is you could. That's the feeling. It's not about spending the money. It's about having the option. That is the real power. But as we're building up this freedom for ourselves, there's this huge invisible trap we have to avoid, and that is the pressure to keep up with the people around us. This statistic is it's absolutely insane, but it is true. When someone wins the lottery, their neighbors are actually more likely to go bankrupt. Why? Because they're trying to keep up with the new cars and the new kitchen renovations happening next door. It's a perfect, terrifying example of social comparison destroying your finances. You see, we all anchor our idea of what's normal to the people we spend time with.
If all your friends are about $1,000 dinners and luxury vacations, you're going to feel that pressure to do the same thing. The lesson here is so important. Choose your social circle wisely. Surround yourself with people whose values actually line up with your financial goals.
So, avoiding all these external traps really brings us back to our own internal habits. It's all about finding your personal balance and just creating a healthier relationship with money. And that's because these saving habits, man, they get wired into your brain. I will fully admit, just the other day, I walked over a mile just to save $15 on an Uber. To this day, I will not pay extra for guacamole. It feels wrong. These little habits are so hard to break, even when you know you can easily afford it, because they've been programmed into you for decades.
And that really brings us to the ultimate takeaway from all this, the final lesson. Money isn't for hoarding, and it's definitely not for impressing other people. Money is a tool. That's it. It's a tool to build a life that gives you independence, the ability to control your own time, and, just as importantly, a sense of purpose.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. When you really look at your own financial life, are you using money as a tool to build a life you actually want? Or, in one way or another, is it still in control of you?